Hey everybody, it is 2 o'clock, so we are going to get started. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Nick Erickson, and this is episode 4 of our weekly webinar series. Last week, we were joined by Ian McIntaggart, one of the leading composite testing experts in the industry. He shared with us some of his knowledge on testing composite laminates and the associated fixtures. In case you missed it, the recording is available on our YouTube channel. Today, we're joined by Erica Lawrence, the product manager for Instron's Universal Testing Systems. She's here to introduce the next generation 6800 series testing systems. Built on more than 70 years of technology and innovation, the new 6800 series includes advanced technology designed to make your testing simpler, smarter, and safer. We're also joined by Dan Caesar, one of our application engineers. He's going to be here keeping an eye on questions while Erica is presenting so that he and Erica can address a few of those at the end. With that said, I'm going to turn things over to Erica.
Thanks, Nick. Today I'm excited to introduce our all-new 6800 series universal testing machines. I'm going to start off with a new product overview and what makes a difference from the 5900s. Then I'll cover the biggest new features, the Smart Close Air Kit, collision mitigation, operator protect, and auto positioning. At the end, we'll have time for questions. The 6800 series is an update to Instron's popular 5900 series, which has been manufactured since 2009. The 6800 is available in single column and table model capacities up to 50 kilonewtons. For single columns, we offer 4 different capacities ranging from 500 newton to 5 kilonewtons. We also offer 4 table models with capacities ranging from 5 to 50 kilonewtons. Extra height options are available for all systems with a capacity of 5 kilonewtons and up. The 30 kilonewton table model is also offered in an extra width option. With the 6800 series, we've introduced an all-new 5 kilonewton single column model. This helps customers who may need a higher capacity system but have limited lab space and could benefit from the consolidated footprint of a single column system. When looking at the advanced features and specifications of the 5900s, we carried all of that forward to the 6800s. This includes features like Specimen Protect, compatibility with Bluetooth Universal and Instron Connect, and load cell accuracy up to 0.5% down to 1/1000th of the load cell capacity. Users can also add up to 13 additional channels and a digital I/O board. To add to an already great feature set, we did do some specification improvements and introduced several new features. The 6800s now have a default data acquisition rate of up to 2.5 kHz and can be upgraded to 5 kHz with the advanced performance option. This ensures that you never miss a test event in your data. All 6800 systems are now equipped with brushless AC servo motors. These maintenance-free motors allow for increased cyclic, creep, and relaxation performance. Long-term tests can be run for periods of up to 10 days under standard lab conditions. When designing the 6800s, our engineering team kept serviceability in mind. The average Instron system lasts for decades, and it's important to keep them up and running. With the all-new advanced diagnostics in the 6800 series, our global service organization can troubleshoot and repair faster than ever before if something does go wrong. To support those of you with existing systems and accessories, we've also reused mounting interfaces and bolt patterns to ensure accessories will fit on the new systems as much as possible. Accessories like the AVE2, load cells, and grips from your 5900s should all fit on the 6800s. The 6800 series systems are also compatible with Instron's advanced accessories. The systems can be outfitted with torsion add-ons, auto-injector fixtures, and XY stages for advanced applications and testing. On top of their advanced performance, we've introduced several new features to the 6800s. These new features were driven by 3 primary factors: making testing simpler, our machines smarter, and keeping our operators safer. First up, let's talk about the all-new Smart Close Air Kit. The Smart Close Air Kit is designed to reduce finger pinch hazards by closing the grips at a lower initial grip pressure. Once the test is started, the system increases the pressure to that which the operator can set in the software, which is appropriate for their material. Now let's see it in action. Here, the operator inserts the specimen and the grips are going to close at that lower initial pressure. Once she starts the test, the grips move to a higher pressure and you can see the specimen being compressed. This helps minimize her risk when her hands are in the test base loading the specimen. The system controls all of this for you and you don't have to remember to set and adjust a regulator. Bluehill and the frame will do all of that for you. The hardware to support the new air kit is integrated into the systems. Clean, dry air of up to 120 psi can be hosed directly into the frame. In the case of an emergency, the SmartClose Air Kit is integrated into the emergency stop of the system to ensure that the grips will open when the e-stop is pressed. With the fully integrated SmartClose Air Kit, operators can now set their grip pressure directly from Bluehill Universal. This ensures that each test is run exactly the same way and no longer requires manually adjusting the regulator. You can even set up grip pressure to be linked to other inputs, so it's automatically set for you when selecting perhaps the material type. Now, let's take a look at collision mitigation. Collision mitigation is designed to reduce damage to equipment and specimens by stopping the crosshead if unexpected force is detected during jog or return. Here, we have an operator who perhaps isn't paying that much attention as he's jogging his upper platen closer to his specimen. He accidentally jogs a little bit too far and collides with his specimen. Rather than keep moving and building load, the crosshead stops and the user is alerted that a collision has occurred. Collision mitigation is always active during jog and return functions and does not have to be turned on. The only time it is not active is if the load cell is not plugged in or electronically calibrated. The crosshead will not only stop when a collision is detected, but back off ever so slightly to where it first started seeing the load. The sensitivity of collision mitigation depends on which load cell is plugged into the system and being used. However, each system can protect its matching capacity load cell from damage when colliding rigid surfaces together at a speed of up to 600 millimeters a minute. So, if you have a 500 Newton system equipped with a 500 Newton load cell and crash your platens together while jogging in setup mode, the load cell will not be damaged. This can help reduce downtime and cost due to damaged cells and equipment. Now, we'll focus on the new system architecture that helps make these systems safer than ever before. Operator Protect is Instron's patent-pending system architecture, designed to keep equipment and operators safer by controlling and monitoring the system status from setup to test completion. A lot of work went into this new architecture to ensure that whenever testing, there are no surprises of what your machine is doing and no compromises to your workflow. Operator Protect is made possible by three distinct elements. The first is bringing the controls to the machine. The 6800 systems bring all buttons to initiate movement to the machine itself, rather than having some available in software and some on the machine and causing confusion as to where motion should be started. Secondly, we've introduced the idea of modes into these systems. To keep the operator safer, we've implemented a setup mode, which has restricted motion through limiting the jog speed to 600 millimeters a minute and closing the grips at the lower pressure to help reduce the risk and severity of accidents. The system mode is indicated at all times on the system via color-coded LEDs on the frame. To move between these modes, we have an all-new button called the Virtual Interlock. By pressing the Virtual Interlock button, operators simulate the closing of a shield to alert the system that they're ready to start a test and unleash the full power of the system. After every test is complete, it'll automatically default back to the safer setup state. While Operator Protect operates largely under the hood, we wanted to bring awareness to operators as to what their machine is doing at all times with safety coaching. This is designed to provide clear instruction as to when it's okay to enter the test phase and when to stay away. It also reminds operators to perform safety critical tasks like setting their travel limits. The modes of Operator Protect are not only indicated on the LEDs of the frame, but in a border around Bluehill Universal software. The border will be grayed out when the system is disabled with no motion allowed. Once the virtual interlock is pressed to enable the system, it will move to a blue setup mode where you have restricted jog speed and reduced pneumatic pressure. If you press the virtual interlock again, you'll enter a temporary 2-second state called caution. In this 2 seconds, operators can initiate a test or a crosshead return. If these are not initiated, the system will automatically move back to the safer setup state. If a test or return is performed, the system will move to a red flashing state. Once complete, it automatically moves back to the safer state, so operators don't have to remember to put their system back into that safe state. When leaving setup mode, operators are warned to stay clear of the test area with a warning that stays up for 2 seconds. If a test is left running unattended for 5 minutes or more, the message will pop up again so that anyone approaching the machine will be aware that a test is in progress. Besides the status indication, we've also added a reminder to set all travel limits whenever a new test method is open. Some of the most common accidents when using an Instron could have been prevented by setting appropriate limits, so it's critical that operators remember to do this step. This new workflow is supported by the brand new removable handset on all 6800s. The handset includes an intelligent lighting scheme, which only illuminates which buttons are available for use. On table model systems, the handset is seated in a holster mounted on the column of the frame. It can be removed via a button on top of the holster. On single column systems, the handset is mounted in the base tray of systems, mounted magnetically into the base tray. It can simply be removed by pulling up on the handset. For those familiar with 5900 systems, the buttons should all be very familiar. They include course, bind jog, specimen protect, zero displacement, stop. But the biggest change here is the addition of the virtual interlock to support operator protect. Finally, all new 6800 systems now come equipped with auto positioning. Auto positioning helps to ensure consistent setup and guides operators through configuring their system for repeatable use by remembering the crosshead starting location for each test method. Fixtures can be configured for use across multiple methods for quick and easy setup. Here, we have an operator who's setting up her system with auto positioning on. Our operator opens a method and is shown a picture of what her setup should look like. Once she loads her fixtures onto the system, she's reminded again to set her limits and is told exactly how much the crosshead is going to move and in which direction. After the motion is initiated, her displacement is zeroed and she's ready to start her test. So let's take a look at the setup screen a bit closer. In the first upper left-hand panel, users can upload a photo of what their fixture should look like and input notes about reminders of how to set up their system properly. As always, operators are then given a reminder to set their travel limits after loading in their fixtures. The next step is to initiate the crosshead moving to its starting position. The bottom right panel tells operators exactly how much the crosshead will move and in which direction it will go. This way that they're always sure of exactly what's going to happen on their system. After initiating this, the crosshead move, the system balances displacement, and so every operator is starting their test at the exact same location every single time, helping to improve repeatability across your labs. To set up a fixture for use for auto positioning, a user simply has to configure their fixtures on the system and give a single teach point of a known fixture separation. From this one known value, Bluehill Universal can automatically determine where the crosshead needs to move for any given test method using this new fixture. These configurations can be used across multiple methods, so you don't have to set it up every single time. With this new feature set on the 6800s, we're thrilled to have made mechanical testing simpler, smarter, and safer than ever before. We really appreciate your time today. And now I'm going to pass it over to Dan Caesar, and we'll open up the floor for questions.
Thank you, Erica. So a number of good questions have come in during the webinar and also while everyone was registering. So we're going to do our best to answer some of them now. And as a reminder, all questions that have been submitted, they will be answered in the coming days via a direct follow-up email. So if you're worried about memorizing or writing anything down, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, so the first question that we have here is someone's asking that they have very old Instron pneumatic grips, and they're asking if they can use them with the new 6800 frame and the air kit. So absolutely. We default to a 15 PSI initial setting, as all current grips will close at that pressure, but it's worth keeping in mind that the age and condition of the grip may have an effect here. So with very old or older style pneumatic grips, you may have to adjust this initial pressure to make sure that the grip closes properly. Our next question is about minimum and maximum speeds and also the power requirements for 6800s. So single column frames can be used from 0.00 millimeters, 0.001 millimeters per minute, or about 1,000th of a millimeter per minute, up to 2,540 millimeters per minute, or 100 inches per minute. The table model systems, they all start at 0.001 millimeters per minute, so that 1,000th of a millimeter per minute, but the maximum speed will vary between 760 millimeters per minute to 3,000 millimeters per minute, depending on the capacity of that table model system. And as for power requirements, all systems are available in 100, 120, 220, and 240 volt options, with the maximum power requirement of 700 VA for single column frames and up to 1500 VA for table model systems. Our next question is in regards to what desktop or table model would be the best option for a high volume but low forced peel test. So testing 68 hours a day and in the range of 1 to 15 pounds. So for this specific case, with only that 15-pound capacity requirement, we would recommend a 6800 series single column frame. And depending on how much travel you required, so if you needed a lot of travel versus just a few inches of travel, if you need a small amount of travel, our 68 SC05, our 500 Newton frame would be suitable. But if more travel is required, then you might need to be bumped up to a 68 SC-1. And both systems can be configured for a range of low force load cells. Next question is, are there differences on the 6800 series that require all Blue Hill methods developed on a 5900 frame or a 5500 series frame to be revalidated? So the answer to this is that 6800 frames are shipping with Blue Hill Universal version 4.18 or greater, which started shipping in March of this year. So depending on the version of Blue Hill Universal that you are running and are validated on in your lab, you may need to revalidate to the newest version that your 6800 system is shipped with. Our next question is regarding compliance builder and our solution for 21 CFR Part 11, as well as talking about our CSV exporting capabilities. So to answer this, we have launched an all new Blue Hill Universal traceability module just in the last year or so. Our product manager has recently given a webinar with information on this replacement for our previous solution, which is called Compliance Builder. So the traceability module is now replacing that prior solution compliance builder. Along with this answer, we're going to send out direct links to collateral, so links to that webinar, to the brochure, and to the white paper, all about our new traceability module. And as for the CSV exports in Blue Hill Universal, there are various ways to export raw data and results from Blue Hill. And one of the most common ways is to export via the CSV file. So that certainly is a capability. Another way is via a text file, which you can format in a whole bunch of different ways to suit your needs. They can be custom formatted. And again, similar to the traceability module links, we're going to send out a link to additional information regarding our exportation capabilities in Blue Hill Universal. Our next question is, can we extract average data of replicates? So say 5 specimens, similar to how you can export raw data of individual specimens in Excel. So the answer to this is that you can export the average of the results, such as maximum load. However, you cannot average the individual raw data points for multiple specimens. So this would have to be done post-test in Excel manually. A couple more questions here that have come in during our live session. So we have an older 6800 with a separate PC controlling it and the old style handset. When we upgrade to Blue Hill Universal, will the old handset be compatible? So the answer is Blue Hill Universal is compatible with older systems as a standalone upgrade. It can be added to 5500, 3300, and 5900 series universal testing machines. Other machines may have to be upgraded, may have to have upgraded electronics. Another question is, we run a lot of custom setups. Is there the capacity to customize the setups? Most fixtures from existing systems should work. We tried to carry over our mounting as much as possible from our prior frames to these new 6800 systems with very few exceptions. And your local sales and application specialist should be able to work with you to take a look at any existing fixtures you're going to use and make sure that they are compatible with a new frame. And finally, there's a number of questions regarding pricing, just asking how much these new systems cost, asking for quotes. So that's something that we can definitely provide, but it will be provided by your local Instron sales engineer. So we'll make sure that those people who have requested that information will be reached out to in the coming days. So unless there are last minute questions that are coming in, which I can't tell, we'll certainly answer those questions and reach out to you directly. But I think we're going to be finishing up with this question and answer session. So I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen in today. And of course, hope that you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Thanks again.
All right, thanks, Dan. So that's going to do it for today. Just a few quick notes before we wrap things up. I do see there are maybe some other questions kind of coming in. Like Dan said, we're just going to follow up with those people individually. So you definitely will get answers to your questions. A copy of the 6800 series product brochure is now available in your handout section. I just dropped that in there a second ago. Today's recording will be available on our YouTube channel in just a short while. I know a couple of you had mentioned maybe some audio issues at the start, so if you missed kind of the beginning part, definitely we'll send you the recording in email, likely within the next 24 hours, along with the slide deck. I know some of you had requested that. Next week, my colleague Harriet Barnes will be hosting a webinar with Jonathan Phillips, one of the senior application engineers from our dynamic and fatigue testing group. They're going to be discussing tuning for fatigue testing systems. You can find a link to sign up now on instron.com. With that said, I just want to thank Erica for joining us today. Dan, thanks so much for being here to keep an eye on those questions. Great job there. And thanks to all of you for attending. Stay healthy, everyone. We hope to see you again next week.